Welcome to AI for GenX, a video podcast where we discover new topics about AI. My name is Marisa Wilson, and I'd like to take you along on my training journey. Each week, we'll discover new topics. As GenX, we've done this before, we've learned new technologies, and I'm excited to learn this next one with you. So grab the dog, head outside, and in 10-20 minutes, you'll be a little closer to understanding AI. Fable 5 is Anthropic's latest model, technically mythos with guardrails. And if you want some reality TV like tea and, gossip, go back and look that up. I talked about it in a previous Substack articles, but for now, it's a really strong model. Very expensive and it takes up a lot of tokens. You heard me say tokens, and a lot of power, and resources. And so they can't just open it up just, nonstop for anybody to use. And so they've opened it up for a trial period. So anybody with a paid subscription could use 50% of their capacity on Fable 5 up until it was going to be like July 9th, and now they extended it to July 19th. And it's just a way to use it. And really a really cheap way to use the most powerful model that we have available today, which was really cool. So I was very excited. You might have heard of this too. So they did a little launch, and the government said, no, I don't think so. During that little period that they were on, I did go on and I did an audit of my friend's site, and I was able to find all the links and there was hundreds of links, and about 30% of them were broken. And it did a great job of doing an audit, but it got cut off before I could do anything with the site. So that went back in the back burner. So when it launched again, I was like, great, I'm going to help them with this site. And what does that literally technically mean? It means that I went on. So normally when I use Claude, you can use a web browser or your phone, Claude.ai on the web. And I do have a desktop app, Claude app, but I hadn't really used it that much. And so this kind of forced me to use it. In the desktop app, there is a thing called Claude Code. And before you get scared, the way that I thought I was going to get scared, you might hear people say that it is more of a terminal type thing. I'm here to say, no, it's not. I mean, yes, you can use it as a CLI terminal, but or you could just talk to it. And yes, there are / commands that you can do and give it different actual technical commands, but you can also talk to it in just normal language. And so I went on. There's another really important thing, that tool that Claude has. You can get a Chrome extension. So if you just go into Google Chrome and you look up the extensions, there's a Claude extension. You connect that. And what does that do? That allows your browser to connect to Claude so that it can see it. Because you might have noticed a lot of times if you're just in the app or the web and you try to access, let's say, LinkedIn, it won't allow it to just look at LinkedIn from the app. But if you have the browser extension turned on, it's essentially reading your browser. So I was able to go into Claude Code, basically just say, hey, this is my friend's site. I want to help them revamp it. There's, do an audit. This is what you did last time. It's on WordPress. Let's figure it out together. And literally, and then this is a weekend project. Normally, this probably would have taken weeks and weeks. And it probably would have been impossible for somebody like me to accomplish. But it just took me and what do I do next? Tell me exactly what to do next, what to enter. I got the backend information from my friend. And with that, we were able to get a staging site set up. And, that was something that I technically probably couldn't do, but it was, again, asking in Claude Code, how do I do this? How do I do this? Walk me through it. And it would go step by step. Connected to their hosting environment, created a staging site, connected to the WordPress staging site, and then started to work it. I wanted to change the design and say, what are the themes? So I picked a theme and I would work with Claude, say, is this a good theme? And say, no, use a block theme. And it was just a conversation. It was like if I had a technical person sitting with me, action by action saying, yes, you can do that. Yes, go ahead and do that. And then a lot of times I would be like, you do it. And it could, if you just said, I was having problems with things not rendering correctly on mobile. "Hey, it's not rendering correctly on mobile. Fix it." And it would just go off and do and fix it. So, if you're technical, you're probably rolling your eyes at this, but if you're not technical, you don't have to be technical. You just have to be curious. I was able to do the entire site, redesign. I would ask it not only walk me through step by step, sometimes it required me doing a screenshot of something if it couldn't get access. It was so good at just understanding. And every prompt I would say, and I don't recommend this for everything, but it was just me learning, should I be on the lower level model or should I be on the lower level models are Haiku, then Sonnet, then Opus, and then Fable. So if it was just a little back and forth, use Haiku, you use a lot less tokens. And majority is going to be done in Sonnet. And you'll be hearing a lot that really what Fable 5 is, it's an orchestrator. Think about hiring a McKinsey consultant to do everything. McKinsey $1,000 an hour consultant is not going to sit there and do some of the task-oriented stuff. But Fable 5 is pretty good at saying, I'm going to orchestrate this, launch lower agents that are going to use a lower model and to make things more efficient. So sometimes you can get to the point where you know exactly how to use it the most effectively. If you're using lower models, using lower tokens for just the back and forths, and then ramping it up to do something that's going to have more context memory. It's going to have to remember a lot of things along the way or just get really deep into reasoning. That's when you turned it on. So in his site, the thing that was Fable 5, it would literally tell me, okay, so now we want to fix the at least 90 broken links. Okay, turn on Fable 5. And Fable 5 was able to go to those links. I'm talking like TED Talks and news articles and podcast. If it was broken, it would try to decide what's happening. Again, these links were from 2016. Sometimes the websites had been redesigned, so it was just a matter of finding the link. Fable 5 could find that link. In the end, we ended up only deleting about 9 links that were true broken links, never again to be found. It was able to find relevant links. And we're still in the middle of deploying it, so I'm not going to say it's 100% perfect, but there is no way I could have done this, and definitely no way I could have done this in the span of a holiday weekend.